What is going on, guys? My name is Germ and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, as always, leave your boy a like and a subscribe. And it's tier list time, baby. It's tier list time. So you guys may notice, damn, Germ, the tier list be looking different. And to that I have to say, yes sir. Yes sir. New hard boss equals new tier list. So this is the Androids update, the October 2023 DOKKANFEST TUR tier list, non-easy, of course. And we'll just go ahead and break down some rules before I start. Number one, the biggest and most important thing. Number one, this tier list is entirely based on my opinion using the characters. I know. It's tough. It's tough, man. Germ opinion, L. So this is entirely my opinion. If you were to say a character like, oh, I think STR Super Vegeta still has value in red. Yeah, Vegeta can cook red zone, sure. Like I've used him and he's really good in the red zone. I would probably put him over Gamma 1 or something like that. Yeah, that's biased. But let's say something like that. If somebody really desperately believed that this character is so good that he's like numbered this, that's fine. That's entirely their opinion. So 1,000,000,000% this list is my opinion. This is just how I feel about the characters in the current landscape of the game. And that's just how it is. Yeah, I may have different opinions. You have your own opinions. I have my own opinions. That's how we go. Number two, this tier list will be based off of the hardest bosses in the game. So, I'm talking Red Zone Zamasu, who is now the hardest boss in the game. Omega Shenron. The two Dismal Futures, Goku Black and Zamasu fights are up there. Cell is up there. Even things like the Metal Cooler Core, Broly. If the Metal Cooler Core, Broly, and Omega is not, Red Zone Omega is not a fight anymore, right? Characters like this would just still be up there. So that's why I'm kind of trying to go in a way of I'm more focused on the Dismal Future Red Zone than I am any other Red Zone, because at this point, the 2022 Red Zones, while they are very difficult still, the final bosses for those Red Zones, except like Omega, Red Zone Omega is whatever. But Broly, the Metal Cooler Core, even Red Zone Cell Max, to be honest, they're all very hard, right? Cell Max is still a very difficult boss. There are a multitude of difficult bosses in the game. It's just, I'd prefer to just kind of base it off of today, 2023 meta, as much as I possibly can. Because if we're talking about Red Zone Broly, Red Zone Metal Cooler Core, and stuff like that, we're talking like putting characters like Ginyu up here, or Bardock up there, or Goku and Gohan, or things like that. I want to base this off as close as I possibly can to the newest, hardest content, which, for Dokkan, they have chosen the AoE meta, right? So these characters are going to be kind of based off on the AoE meta, but not too much, because Omega is more of a build-up fight than anything. That's why I like Zamasu and Omega as the two hardest bosses in the game. So this is currently what I'm thinking here. F tier, we have the fodder characters. None of these characters are really going to give you much value. E tier, you could get something out of them, but they're still probably going to get you killed, like Pikkon and Janemba. The only reason they're up here is because of their support. Pikkon has his dodge, Janemba has his guard. That's practically it, but if they get touched at all, Janemba can take a lot of damage if he doesn't get the damage reduction up and stuff like that. Pikkon, if he doesn't dodge, gets you killed. Gets you killed in 3 seconds, right? The androids are in D tier just because of the Ghost Usher. The Ghost Usher is legitimately a broken tool that they have, but they can take a lot of damage. C tier, let's get into it. Goku and Gohan need to super attack to get their dodge. Before that, they're completely utterless and they get destroyed, right? AGL Cell sucks until he transforms into Perfect, but even then, even Perfect form Cell can take some damage, right? Bardock, the Scouter, is honestly, he's better than these two. I don't know why he's doing down here. I probably would have him here. It's just, the problem with Bardock is Bardock takes a lot of damage. He really doesn't have that much defense. And then once the Scouter wears off, what value does Bardock really bring to the table, Pan, before she attacks, can be very good. She has the 50% damage reduction, but once she attacks and loses that damage reduction, lights out. It's lights out like that, man. And it doesn't help that now we have Int Omega and we have Int Merge Zamasu, who's phase 1 AoE, Pan can be very good for those AoEs, but she's getting destroyed after that damage reduction wears off. A tier characters can handle most of the majority of content. Yes, Tech Ultimate Gohan is on the list. I know. Blame Dokkan. I literally I'm pretty sure Dokkan has a picture of Tech Ultimate Gohan hanging on the wall, and it's like there's a list of characters that they're planning on dropping, and they're like, okay, as long as he's not this guy. Tech Ultimate Gohan, first of all, is insanely good for Omega. Even like, he's really good for Omega because you're able to stack and he has the guard. He's okay for Zamasu, right? He's decent against Zamasu because he at least has the guard. He can't take a lot of damage, but once he actually starts getting stacked up a little bit, like 1 or 2 super attacks and stuff like that, 2 super attacks. For me, I think it's like 3 or 4. He's fine, right? Majin Vegeta still very decent. Even with Vegeta and Trunks, he'll be very good. Ginyu, the issue with Ginyu is at this point now, the AoEs can hit Ginyu. Right? Against Omega, it's not as prevalent because he's able to stack up against Tech Omega, and by the time you get to Age of Omega, you might be able to transform into Ginyu Goku. But against Zamasu, turn 1, this guy takes a lot of damage. Right? The Ginyu Force is just old, right? They're a year and a half old at this point. They're almost 2 years old, so we gotta like start talking about that conversation, right? S tier characters, Yamcha has completely like gone up in terms of value. The Earthbred Fighter's leader skill, the dodging, the high attack stats. Like, Yamcha has gone up, man. Yamcha's very, very good. I have Tech Super Trunks up there. I really don't know what I would think with Tech Super Trunks. The thing about Tech Super Trunks' base sucks, but Transform Super Trunks is like, Transformed Super Trunks is up here, right? Being able to guarantee crit and stuff like that, it's just very good. Right, Gamma 2 is down here. There's a big reason is the AoEs, right? Even STR Omega, not that much, but Int Omega completely destroys Gamma 2, right? Gamma 2 gets completely destroyed by Zamasu, so it's not easy for Gamma 2 anymore, man. Turles takes a lot of damage, even against Zamasu, he takes a lot of damage. Turles needs to build up, and unfortunately, build up characters right now, they're kind of just in a weird spot, right? Hellfighter 17 can still be very good. Like, the androids can... Sorry. Super 17 can be very good once he transforms, but before they transform, Hellfighter 17 and Android 17, they are good in a way because they have their dodge and stuff like that, but they still have their wonkiness of, like, just having to have... What is it? It's extreme class allies, which their team is not really good for the extreme class ally stuff. Z tier characters. I moved Kale down from Z+. The issue with Kale is we don't have top tier Universe 6 characters, man. Once we get top tier Universe 6 characters, which is the same reason I put Kaioken Blue Goku lower on my easy ATUR tier list, was because he's restricted and he needs characters, right? Kale needs Universe 6, and unfortunately, right now we just don't have a character like that. The best Universe 6 character other than Kale is Int Boda Magetta's sub EZA. Yeah. And the other issue with Kale is she kind of wants a Caulifla. She doesn't really want, like, just a regular Universe 6 ally. Just Caulifla is what she wants. And we don't have a Caulifla right now. So, Kid Goku is still up there. Kid Goku's ridiculous, man. Kid Goku is so good. Against Zamasu, he's very good. He can take damage against physical Zamasu. Omega, he does alright against as well. He has type advantage in the final phase, so you don't have to really worry about leaving Kid Goku against Omega. Against STR Omega, he can take some damage, but even then, it's not crazy amounts of damage. And now that I actually pulled dupes in my Kid Goku and could give him the full dodge build, I mean, I'm good with him. He's good. Gamma 1 is still ridiculously powerful as well. He can take some damage before he super attacks and stuff like that, but otherwise, like, he's perfect. He's the type of character you want. Just guard, damage reduction, good. And then the top 3. The big 3 are still probably going to be the big 3 even after this tier list. I know exactly where I would put the androids, but we got to talk about a lot of the android stuff, right? So I have been tempted to do this recently, but I know I can't be like lying, man. So I do think that Tech 23rd World Tournament Goku has just become more prevalent for me. And the biggest reason why I want to put him over God Goku so badly is just because of how much hatred I have for God Goku. It's not... Listen, I know the character's kit is very good, right? He just never dodges for me. God Goku never dodges for me. Even with the guard up, he takes a lot of damage, right? It's just... Bro, please. And the thing with 23rd World Tournament Goku is if you revive, like... Post-revive, 23rd World Tournament Goku's up here. He's up there, right? But I'm going to be fair here. Piccolo Jr. I do think is still number 1. It's just... The AoEs can take a lot of damage as well. That's the thing. But he has the giant form. He can nullify the super attacks because of the giant form and stuff like that. So it'll work out well for us. Alrighty, fellas. Enough talk. Enough talk. We've gathered our thoughts long enough on the tier list. Let's go ahead and drop the droids here very quickly. The androids, they are very good. Where are they gonna be? Where are they going? I'm kind of in between here with these two. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm kind of like here with these two right now, right? They are very good, and I think that they are insanely powerful, but they do have their flaws. Now, let's go ahead and talk about their biggest issue, and it's this. This should not have been given to them on super attack. This should have just been part of their kit. Like, who cares? 35% damage reduction? Who cares? It's not like a big number that's going to be able to like defend them forever, because they start off, for me, now at Link level 10 next to MVP 17, they're like 200k defense starter turn, 220. And that's just with MVP 17 given the defensive support. So if you take away MVP 17 and all the Android links, I mean, they're at like, what, 160, 170? And they only get 100% if you have a Goku, right? And it's like 300k defense with 35% damage reduction. It's not really crazy, you know? Normals, they'll live. They'll live the normals fine, but the super attacks are still getting them killed, right? And the big major issue with this character, it's not only that. The damage reduction is probably the biggest thing. It's their orbs. You see this right here, right? Start, they give 2 key, 35% attack and defense. The 7 key spheres are ridiculously hard to get. I have had runs where I did not get this character's 7 key spheres until like the very end of the fight or something like that. Right? Now, one really good value for this character as well is they are supporting here, and they're supporting on their super attack for multi-turn. On their unit super, right? Otherwise, it's just on their regular 12, on their regular just super attack. 50% attack and defense is still very good, but obviously you want to get the 100%, right? And another issue that is that 100% is locked behind Goku. Now, we have plenty of Gokus in the game, but on their own team, there's a lot more. And on any other 200%, there's no Gokus on target Goku, right? On joined forces, there are, but you don't want to run this unit with superclass characters anyway, excuse me. Then Gamma 2, you do have a lot of really good Gokus there as well as movie heroes. I'd say that's just my biggest flaws. I mean, they are if they have a Goku, they're completely ridiculous. They're a different character with Goku on the rotation and stuff like that. Without Goku, they're just kind of there, right? Now, the multi-turn support they don't get, so it's only the 50% attack and defense. And that's pretty much it, right? Otherwise, here's another issue I have with them. Their active skill doesn't really do anything, you know? It's cool, yeah, you can activate it 8 times, but like, what's the point of it? You can change key spheres. It is useful if you already have a bunch of tech key spheres you can change to int. But other than that, it's like, what's the point of it, right? So I think that's where I probably have the androids. Overall, I do think they are very good. Can I put them above Kale? I mean, I'm cutting them off at Kid Goku at least. I mean, because I could even say Yamcha. Because just start a turn, I mean, Yamcha might be better, to be honest. Is Yamcha better than the androids? I mean, I'm kind of tempted to say yeah. But at the same time, like, am I being for real when I say that? Like, Yamcha does have to attack, but you can get his active skill turn 1 to get the dodge off and stuff like that. And even then, he still has dodge in his kit, so shoot, man, I could really move Yamcha up, huh? I could put them here. They're literally somewhere here. Like, even on top of Kale. I'm cutting them off at Kid Goku, though. I think Kid Goku completely destroys this unit in terms of viability. Honestly, I guess I could leave them there. That's not the worst spot in the world to have them at, right? They are top 10, but they're like top 10, but they're like 6, 7, 8, or 9, right? Maybe 10 is cutting it a little close. Because I mean, they're better than Gamma 2. Are they? I'm having doubts now. We'll leave it like this. We'll leave it like this. I think in the meantime, right, as this unit ages, this unit's gonna age fine. It's just depending on what content we get. Because if they're not facing AoEs, I mean, they're gonna be ridiculous. But that goes for Gamma too as well. He's gonna be insane if there's no AoEs, right? They're somewhere in this listing, right? I could have them as high as 6. I could go 7, 8, 9, 10. Somewhere in that range is where I could have them, right? I guess they're like 6, 7, 8. They're in that 6 to 10 range, right? So I guess that's where I'd have the androids. Let me go ahead and make the top 10 here real quick, and then we'll wrap up. And with that, fellas, here is the top 10 version of the list. I could realistically put Yamcha way up here. It's just, for right now, I mean, it's kind of tough. Because the thing is, I could just put the androids. The androids are somewhere in, like, this range, right? Maybe 10 would be, like, 9 would be, like, the lowest I can place them. But I just know they're somewhere in this range. It's kind of hard to rank the androids because, again, if the hardest fight in the game wasn't an AoE, they would be probably, like, up here, you know? 4, 3, something like that. But for right now, with the meta that Dokkan has chosen, this is just how I feel. Like I said, at the beginning of the video, all these tier lists are always going to be my opinion, right? This is just how I feel about the characters in the current landscape of the game. So, there you guys go. If you guys made it to the end of the video, leave your boy a like and a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.